Hello, so welcome to another reading vlog. This week, my main read is going to be Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Ninth House, which I read, I think, not that long after it first came out. And I wanted to reread it before I read this, but I couldn't get my hands on the audiobook or the physical book. I don't think I even looked at the physical book. I just wanted to read the audiobook, but I couldn't get my hands on it. So instead, I went online and read a summary, which I hope has refreshed my memory enough, even though I still feel like I'm a bit shady on the details. But basically in Ninth House, we're following Alex Stern, who's able to see ghosts, or I think they call them greys in this world. And that is very useful to the people who run the magical societies at Yale. So she's been offered a scholarship to Yale, despite the fact that she doesn't really have the history of someone who would normally go to Yale. And some of her past gets revealed throughout the first book. Also in the first book, she is investigating a murder, as well as we're finding out about some of the details about her mentor, Darlington, or I think his name's Daniel Arlington, but we call him Darlington. And he's gone missing, and we're kind of learning about the details of it. This one, he's still missing. We have a good idea of where he's gone. And in this one, I think maybe we'll try and get him back. I don't know. To be honest, Darlington's cool. I don't mind him, or at least that's my memory of reading the first book. But my main favorite character from the series is Dawes. Pamela Dawes, I think her name is. I don't really remember that much. I just remember really liking her when I read the first book. So I'm hoping I'll like her in this one. I think I liked Alex as well. I don't really know what's going to be happening. We're trying to get Darlington back. There's probably some more murders to investigate. Did I actually properly describe that? So at Yale, there's 8 different houses that do different kinds of magic. These secret societies, and Alex is working for the Ninth House, which kind of polices them and makes sure that they don't do anything that's too dangerous. So yeah, I'm going to be reading this week. If you usually watch my vlogs, you'll know I normally have an audiobook on the go as well. But this week I'm going to be reading the Wizard of Oz audiobooks, and I think it makes more sense to put my thoughts about that in my vlog with when I go and see the Wicked musical at the end of the month or the start of next month. So I won't talk about that here. I'll mainly just be talking about this. I don't know. This feels really big and chunky, but the font is not that small and the pages are really thick. I just finished reading Elantris in my last vlog, and this one, despite seeming much more tiny, the font is tiny and the pages are really thin, and it's this is 600 pages and this one is 400 and something. 450, I'm nearly 500, 478. So the size of books can be quite misleading. So even though this is massive and making me feel like it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get through, I should be okay. Although, it's already Tuesday night. So I'm a bit behind on this week already. But actually, to be honest, I'm feeling a bit crap. It's that time of the month. So I'm thinking tomorrow, well, I'm going to go to bed now and read. And then tomorrow I'm thinking about having a day in bed with my book and my laptop and just doing laptop productivity and reading things. So I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow, I guess. But I'm going to go to bed now and read. So huzzah. Hello. This lighting with my glasses is probably terrible, but this is the best we can do right now. So I didn't end up having a lazy day in bed, even though I'm in bed now and honestly wishing I did have a lazy day in bed because I'm very tired. But just by the time I got up and went for a walk, which I decided to do anyway, then I just felt like being productive and decluttering. Anyway, I didn't come here to talk about all of that. I came here to talk about Hellbent. So I'm about 100 pages in, 110. And in the beginning, I'll admit I was very confused and really regretting that I hadn't done my reread of Ninth House. I think if you did a reread of Ninth House, you would go into this in a much better position. So one thing that this book does do is similar to Ninth House is that it is jumping around in time a bit. I think not as much as Ninth House did, but it's very similar in that you've got kind of the current time, and then you've also got something that happened to her over the summer, because this is her second year of university. And then as well, anytime she goes anywhere, she's very likely to slip into remembrances of things that happened when she was there in the past with Darlington. And I think sometimes when she slips into those memories, it's easy to get confused if you're not paying attention and you don't realize, oh, this is a memory. This isn't what's actually happening now. And I think especially like trying to get back into it and not knowing really who any of the characters were or what was going on just made me even more confused. But I think I'm getting my footing now. I have found myself a little bit frustrated at Alex because some of her plans seem very like unthought through, and also disappointed in Dawes for letting Alex get away with this shit. Just given the stakes, I think they should be thinking things through a little bit more. But I think, I don't know, again, this is why I wish I'd read Ninth House, because I'm like, is that just her character? I can't really remember. But hopefully, something kind of went wrong in the first 100 pages, and hopefully, as a result, she'll be a bit more careful going forward. But really, yeah, all I've done so far is remember who the characters are and get an idea of what we're trying to do. So, we'll see. There has been another murder as well that we're probably going to have to investigate. And I imagine we'll end up tying into things. Anyway, it's bedtime. I'm really tired again, so I'm going to go to bed and read some more of this.
Lazy Sunday mornings, hiding under covers. I don't mind staying in with you. Play your favorite movie.
Hello, so please excuse all the clothes and old sheets that are surrounding me because I need to bag these all up. I'm still hardcore in decluttering mode. In fact, I'm trying to go quite hard on it this week and next week because the next stage in the plan is for Jace to move all his stuff here, and I need to finish sorting out all my stuff so that there's actually room for that to happen. And I still have like so much stuff. How did I end up with so much stuff? I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to update you on Hellbent. I am now halfway through almost. To be honest, I'm struggling with this a little bit. I just feel like it's so scattered and unfocused. Like, Alex keeps saying how important it is for her to be trying to save Darlington, and they now have like a time limit, a deadline, and still she doesn't seem that focused on doing it, even though she keeps saying about how important it is and like she's willing to sacrifice everything for him. But like, then why aren't you focusing on it? And she keeps saying like, oh, I've still got to figure out these problems, and then not trying to solve those problems, spending a whole bunch of time on other things, and maybe those things are out of her control, but also like while these other things are happening, information that's relevant to her saving Darlington like just kind of falls in her lap, but it just feels kind of convenient. And then all the other things that are happening still feel like a distraction, even though I'm sure they're gonna matter in the end. But like, I don't feel like it's gonna be like a logical coming together. It seems more like just like oh, isn't it convenient that all these things came together? I don't know. I made the mistake last night because I was struggling with this of going and reading some 1 and 2 star reviews, and I've been doing that lately whenever I'm not enjoying a book, and I'm not sure that it's the best way to help you enjoy the book, because instead all that happens is you focus on the things that you're not enjoying, and it makes you realize other things that you're not enjoying. But like, I don't think this is bad, but it just seems like a whole bunch of random stuff is happening with no like direction or momentum to the story. And like, in terms of like a murder investigation or some kind of like occult supernatural problem that people are trying to solve, I've definitely read like so many books that do it better than what is happening here. As well, like, I said Dawes was my favorite character, right? I don't remember why. Nothing about her in here is making her my favorite. So I don't know. I know that Ninth House wasn't my favorite like it is some people's, but I was still really hoping to enjoy this, and so far it's just like it's fine. But if the second half is going to win me over, it needs to be like much more focused, and instead of just like rambling around, we need to have like some clear events happening. I'm not confident that's going to happen. Anyway, I'm going to go and continue decluttering and reading more of this. That's pretty much all I'm doing now. Also like going mental because of the sound of the cicadas. I hope I've managed to take it out of the background of this video. There are so many cicadas, it's actually driving me mental. Anyway, I'll read some more. I'll let you know what we think. Okay, so I haven't really done hardly any reading for like the last day and a half. It's all covers with Cassidy's fault because she did this Sims video, and then I was like, oh, I feel like playing The Sims. And I managed to make myself take breaks in continuing the decluttering, but I didn't have enough motivation to also make myself continue reading. And now I'm going to go out for the afternoon to enjoy the sunshine, spend some time with Jace, but I did just before start a chapter. I didn't get very far, but I'm so confused because the chapter started with them going through the details of this complicated ritual that they need to do, and they've been saying it's super important since they were saying, oh, we've only got 2 weeks to prepare, and there's multiple people involved, and now suddenly it's the night before and we're discussing the details for the first time. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if it's really that important, why are you not spending any time on it? I'm so like, what is going on with this book? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, I'm going to go and enjoy the sunshine. Because, what is this book? Hello, so it's many days later, but I have finally managed to get through another 100 pages of this, so I'm about 3/4 of the way through, and I'm now very behind on where I wanted to be with my reading this month, but never mind. I will say, I do think this has gotten a little bit better since they did the ritual that they were doing. Things have been a bit more focused, although there was one part where this other character said to Alex, focus, and I was like, yes, can you please? So I think part of it is just that things have started to come together now. I still do think that some of the different plot threads feel a bit convenient the way they're coming together, but at least now they're part of the bigger picture, so I don't feel like it's so scattered anymore. There's also like an actual danger. I mean, there was always danger, but there's like an actual problem now that they're focused on fixing, which I'm liking a lot more. I will say, like, we've got kind of a bigger cast of characters. A lot of these characters existed in the previous book, but now they're much more involved in what's going on. And I do like that, but I also think, like, me personally, I don't feel particularly attached to any of the characters as I'm reading this. I think I felt more attached in the first book, and I've been reading some other people's reviews and watching some booktube videos where people have been talking about this, and I feel like most people are having the opposite experience, that they feel much more connected to the characters in this one. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I am feeling a lot more excited to go into the last 100 pages than I was about reading the previous 100 pages that I've just finished. So it's already way too late, but I am going to try and finish this off tonight. I probably won't quite make it, but I should be able to finish it off tomorrow. Hello. So I finished off Hellbent last night quite late. It took me a while to get to the very end. I felt like it was kind of like a big piece of action, things coming together, and then the very end just kind of dragged on a bit for me, probably because I didn't mind this. It was fine, but I wasn't in love with it. And I found myself actually wishing that this had been written by someone like Alona Andrews that I really love. I'm pointing at my Alona Andrews books up here. I just think it wasn't as cohesive as I wanted. Also, there is a bit where our main character Alex is feeling really hopeless, and I really loved how the book expressed those emotions, and I thought, why weren't you writing emotions like this in the rest of the book? And actually also, I kind of wish we got things from Dawn's perspective. I didn't like her as much in the second book, but I still think she's my most favourite character, probably because she's the actual academic character in this book. And there are a lot of really interesting magical mythology and like mythology about hell being brought into this story, but because Alex is so non-academic and not interested in the details, we don't get any of those details, and I would like more of those details. So I just feel like this is fine, but there's a lot of things that it could have included that it doesn't include, and so then I just feel like frustrated that we didn't get that. Oh, and actually, at the very end, there's another bit which really reminded me of what Sarah J. Maas always does, which is that the main character has a plan, doesn't tell you, the reader, about that plan, and then it's like, oh, surprise, they had a plan. Could you not have just told me the plan? It just doesn't seem realistic that we would be following along with the characters leading up to these events and that they wouldn't tell us, the reader, or they wouldn't think about what it is that they're planning. And to me, instead of making the revelation at the end kind of feel like a revelation, it's more like things are just coming together and it's trying to surprise you, but it doesn't feel clever. It doesn't feel like, oh, there's all the pieces, I suddenly see how they come together. It feels like you just weren't ever told about any of the pieces. And then it's like, well, why was I reading this book if you weren't telling me about all the pieces? And as well, like some of the revelations at the end have to be like quite thoroughly explained to you because you weren't given the pieces. So instead of being like, oh, that's what's happening, you're like, wait, what? And then you have to read through the explanation, which to me feels like it's dragging. And so the more I talk about it, the more I think I didn't like it, but I didn't mind it. I think it's okay. I just think Leigh Bardugo's writing focuses on like things that I don't enjoy and doesn't develop the things I would enjoy about the story. Anyway, one thing I will note, the rabbit on the front of the cover does make sense. There's a reason why there's a rabbit, so there's that. Anyway, I read this book. It was okay. Do let me know if you read Hellbent, what you thought about it. I would love to talk with you more about it down in the comments. Otherwise, I think that's it for this vlog. So yeah, let's chat in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.